You're 24. You just opened your first 401k 3 months ago because HR finally cornered you during onboarding. You're putting in 4% because that's the number that auto-filled on the form. You have no idea if that's good. You have no idea what a Roth IRA even does differently from a regular one. And somewhere out there, a finance YouTuber just told you the top 10% of retirement savers have multiple tax-advantaged accounts working together, and your stomach dropped because you don't even have one account figured out, let alone several. Here's what nobody told you. Not your parents, not your high school, not the HR person who handed you a packet and said, just pick something. The American education system spends 12 years teaching you the quadratic formula and 0 hours teaching you the difference between pre-tax and post-tax money, which is genuinely one of the most expensive gaps in the entire system. You weren't slow to figure this out. You were never given the manual. So today, I'm not going to tell you what separates people who already have a fat portfolio from everyone else. I'm going to tell you what the top 10% are actually doing differently, the real mechanics. And then I'm going to show you how to start every single one of them this week, even if your account balance right now is $0. If you've ever opened a retirement app, stared at the number, and felt that specific flavor of dread, not knowing if you're behind or just early, stay with me. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which 5 moves matter, in what order, starting from nothing. And you're not imagining how widespread that dread is. Surveys tracking financial anxiety in the US have found that more than half of Americans now say they worry about money every single day, up sharply over the last few years. And the increase is steepest among people with debt and people earlier in their careers. Exactly the group that's also least likely to have been taught any of this. That's not a personal failing showing up in the data. That's a generation doing math homework it was never assigned. Let's start with the house, because that's the easiest way to actually see this. Picture the retirement you're building as an actual house, not a number on a screen. Right now, for most people watching this, there's no house yet. Maybe a slab of concrete, that's fine. Every house starts as a slab. The first thing top savers do is they never lay that slab by hand when someone is offering to pour half of it for free. That free concrete is your employer match. If your company offers a 401k match, and most do, somewhere around 4 to 5% of your salary on average, and you're contributing less than what gets you the full match, you're walking past free money sitting on the sidewalk. A widely cited study of millions of retirement accounts run by the firm Financial Engines found that roughly 1 in 4 people miss out on their full employer match simply by under-contributing. And it's worse the lower your income. Over 40% of workers earning under $40,000 a year leave match money unclaimed, compared to about 1 in 10 of people earning 6 figures. That's not a coincidence. That's a system where the people who need the boost most are the ones least likely to know it's there. And here's a detail almost nobody mentions. If you don't hit the full match in a given year, that money doesn't roll over. It's not sitting there waiting for you to claim it later. It's just gone. Every single pay period you under-contribute. Actionable move. Log into your 401ki portal today, find your match percentage, and set your contribution to at least that number. If your employer matches 100% up to 5% and you're only putting in 2%, you're leaving roughly 3% of your salary on the table every single paycheck. On a $50,000 salary, that's $1,500 a year. Free, gone, every year you don't fix it. Once the slab is poured, the top 10% don't build with one material. This is the part competitors love to talk about, but never explain for someone starting at zero. Tax diversification. Here's the plain version. A traditional 401k is pre-tax money. It goes in before Uncle Sam touches it, but you'll pay taxes when you pull it out in retirement. A Roth IRA is the opposite. You pay taxes now on money you probably don't have much of yet. And then in retirement, every single dollar comes out completely tax-free, growth included. Nobody knows what tax rates look like in 2055. Having both means you're not betting your entire future on one guess. For 2026, you can put up to $7,500 into a Roth IRA for the year. And if your income is under about $153,000 as a single filer, you qualify for the full amount. That phase-out range is something most beginner content never even mentions, because it assumes you're already worried about hitting it. At your stage, you almost certainly aren't, which means the door is wide open. That's the part the "look how advanced I am" videos skip. They assume you already know these numbers exist. You don't need to max it, you need to open it. A Roth IRA at most brokerages costs you nothing to open, and you can start with $25. Here's what that $25 actually turns into if you stick with it. Say you start at $24 with nothing, and you put just $50 a month into that Roth IRA automatically and never touch it. At a typical long-term market return of around 7%, by 65, that's somewhere in the neighborhood of $130,000. Completely tax-free on the way out, every dollar. You didn't need a windfall. You needed 40 years and a recurring transfer you set up once and forgot about. Actionable move. If you have $0 in a Roth IRA right now, that's room 2 of your house. You don't have to choose between the 401k match and this. You get the match first, then anything extra goes here. This next one is the room almost nobody builds early, and it's the one with the best deal in the entire tax code, according to most fee-only financial planners who study this stuff for a living. If you have a high-deductible health insurance plan, you likely qualify for a health savings account. For 2026, you can put in up to $4,400 if it's just you, or $8,750 for family coverage. Here's why finance people get a little obsessed with this account. The money goes in tax-free, it grows tax-free, and if you spend it on healthcare, it comes out tax-free too. No other account in America does all three. Even the Roth IRA only gives you 2 of those 3 breaks. Most people treat it like a debit card for co-pays and drain it every year. The top 10% treat it like a second retirement account. They pay small medical bills out of pocket when they can afford to. Let the HSA balance sit and invest. And by year 20, it's quietly worth 6 figures, completely untaxed. If you've never invested the money sitting in your HSA, that's worth checking this week. Most providers let you move it into index funds the same way a 401k does, but almost nobody does it by default. Now, here's where most "you're behind" content actually does damage instead of helping. And it's the part the competitor video missed entirely. It talks about lifestyle creep like it's just a willpower problem for people already making 6 figures. It isn't. It starts the day you get your first real paycheck. Picture 2 people, both starting at $42,000 a year, both putting 8% into their 401k. One of them gets raises over the next 10 years and upgrades everything along the way. The apartment, the car payment, the takeout habit, and never touches that 8%. The other one makes a rule. Every raise, half goes to lifestyle, half goes to the savings rate. By year 10, person 1 is still at 8%. Person 2 is at 18%, sometimes higher. And they don't feel deprived because they were still getting to enjoy half of every raise the whole time. That gap, 8% versus 18%, compounded over 30 working years, isn't a small difference. On that same $42,000 starting salary growing over time, the person stuck at 8% might retire with a few $100,000. The person who let their savings rate climb to 18% on the same income trajectory can end up with a portfolio worth roughly double that, sometimes more. And the only thing that changed was where half of each raise went. It's the difference between retiring comfortably and being 67 and still anxious about money. And it costs nothing to start. It costs a decision, made once, that you can set on autopilot. Actionable move. Next time you get a raise, before you let your spending adjust, increase your contribution percentage by half of that raise. Most payroll systems let you schedule this in advance so you never even see the extra cash hit your checking account. The fourth room is fees, and I want you to actually feel this number instead of just hearing it. Say you invest $10,000 at 25 and never touch it again. Just let it ride for 40 years at a typical 7% market return. In a low-cost index fund, something like a total market fund with an expense ratio around 0.03 to 0.05%, you'd end up with somewhere around $137,000. Take that same $10,000, same market, same 40 years, but put it in a fund charging 1% a year in fees. You end up closer to $94,000, $43,000 gone. Not because the market did anything different, but because someone was quietly skimming a slice off the top every single year for 40 years. And you never felt a single one of those withdrawals individually. This is the part where I'll say plainly, this isn't financial advice, it's math, and you should talk to a licensed professional about your specific situation. But the math itself isn't up for debate. Fees compound exactly like gains do. They just compound against you. Actionable move: open your 401k and Roth IRA right now, today, and look up the expense ratio on whatever fund you're sitting in. If it's above 0.5%, look for a comparable index fund inside the same account. Most plans have at least one. And here's the turning point. The thing the original 5 Signs video buried under sequence of returns risk language that assumes you're already 60 with $1 million saved. Strip away the jargon, and here's what's actually true. At any age, at any account size, the order things happen in matters as much as the things themselves. Think about the person who built the match first, then the Roth, then let the HSA sit untouched, then kept their savings rate rising with every raise, then kept fees low the entire time. Compare them to someone who did all 5 of those exact same things, but in reverse. Chased a hot fund first, let lifestyle creep eat every raise, finally opened a Roth IRA at 40, never touched the match conversation with HR. Same 5 tools, wildly different house. The sequence is the strategy. Most people think building wealth is about which 5 things you know. It's actually about which one you do first, this week, while the balance is still small and the stakes of getting it slightly wrong are nothing. That's the shift. You stop asking, am I behind, and start asking, what's the next room? Behind is a feeling. Next room is a decision you can make in the next 10 minutes. Because here's who you actually become once these 5 things are running quietly in the background. You become the person who doesn't flinch when the market drops 20% because you already know your buffer and your buckets are doing exactly what they're built to do. You become the person at Thanksgiving who isn't performing financial confidence, who actually has it because it's automated and boring and not something you have to think about every day. That's not a flex. That's just what relief feels like when it's structural instead of emotional. You stop refreshing the app every day looking for reassurance because the system is doing the reassuring for you, quietly, in the background, whether you check it or not. And one more written piece nobody mentions when you're 24 with $400 in savings. Write down on one page just 3 numbers. What age you want options by, what your contribution percentage is right now, and what it'll be in 12 months if you do the raise split move even once. That page isn't a budget. It's a promise to the version of you who's going to want to spend that next raise on something shiny. Future you will present you for writing it down while you were calm instead of trying to remember it mid-impulse purchase. Here's your honest status check. If you've opened even one of these 5 rooms, if you're getting any part of your match, if you've so much as opened a Roth IRA account even with $0 in it, you are already ahead of a huge number of people your age who are putting this off because it feels too complicated to start. That's not me being generous. Federal Reserve survey data has repeatedly found that a meaningful share of working-age Americans have little to nothing saved specifically for retirement outside of what's automatically deducted, if anything is deducted at all. Showing up to this video, watching it the whole way through, already puts you in motion ahead of that group. The caveat, because I'd be lying if I skipped it, 5 smart moves don't erase a late start, and nobody's account doubles overnight. A 24-year-old who starts today and a 34-year-old who starts today are not in the same position, and pretending otherwise would be dishonest. But the slope of the line changes the day you start, not the day you feel ready, and starting later still beats not starting. So which room are you missing right now? The match, the Roth, the HSA, the savings rate habit, or the fee check? Drop the one you're starting with this week in the comments. I actually read them, and I'll tell you if you're missing anything specific to your situation. And if this is the first time anyone's laid out the order instead of just the list, that's exactly why this channel exists. Subscribe, because the next video picks up exactly where this one left off, with the room most people skip entirely.